Hi everyone, it's Dina. Today I have an unboxing of a brand new bead box that I'm getting. This is the Jesse James Magical Mystery Bead Box. So stick with me and I will open the box and see what's inside. This is from March of 2025. So I'm excited to see this and stick with me. We'll open it up and see what's in there. And oh my goodness, there are a ton of beads in this box. This is a crazy amount of beads that you get. So main reason why I decided to go ahead and get the Jesse James bead box is watching and purchasing the kits from Softflex that Jesse James also has, like bead strands and then some of the extra little little kits and stuff like that that you can buy with the stuff from Softflex. I decided to go ahead and try it out myself. So we're going to get this for at least a couple of months and see how this goes. And if I like it, then we'll continue on. But so far, I am not disappointed. This is amazing. And there's all sorts of different types of beads I can see in here. You know, just different shapes, different sizes, all sorts of different stuff. So this is a crazy, crazy, crazy amount of beads. I'm very excited about that already. And I just hit the camera, so I'm sorry if it's all bouncy. But this is what you start off with. You open it up and you have this nice little card. So it's called, it's the Magical Mystery Bead Box this month for March of 2025. It's called Conservatory. So we're going to have that flower type theme. And on the back of it, it shows all the different things that are inside the box and gives you a list of everything, and then it tells you different things that they do as far as their lives and things like that that go on. So that's what's inside that part of the box. So give me just a moment. We'll start off with that first one. I'll go through each one of these little guys. And the first one is the Botanic Gardens bead strand. So I'll get that one out first and we'll look at the contents of every single one of these. Then at the end, we'll probably do, more than likely, an earring, just because that's what I usually do on my unboxing tutorials. So meet me back in a second. We'll start with that first one. So here is the first of the bead strands. This one's called Botanic Gardens, and I've already taken it off the strand itself, but I just kept it in the order that it was actually sitting in. So we'll go through each little part. You get, it looks like maybe 4 of these. 1, 2, 3. Yep. 4 of these little daisy type spacers. And these are a antique brass or antique bronze, antique brass, or there's another color too. Anyways, it's that dark brown color. But they look like little traditional daisy spacers, so that's the first thing you get on the strand. The next little item that you have are some very lightweight, they almost feel like they're wood, and they're kind of like a UFO saucer type shape to it. It's a rondelle shape, but that's kind of what they remind me of, is like a UFO saucer. But you get 2 of those guys. These are pretty neat. And these are a little hefty. So they're metal, but they're another little spacer, but it's got a really neat detailing on the top of it. So that one's pretty nifty. Also in the same colors, antique brass colors. And then these guys are absolutely amazing. They look like potentially maybe hand carved. Don't know for sure, but that's what it kind of looks like. And look at the detailing on this. And I'm glad that the camera is kind of picking it up. You can see all different types of flowers that are carved into this thing and different leaves and things. But these guys are amazing. But these are the type of things, these are the type of beads that got me really interested in Jesse James's bead mixes and things, because they have different beads like this. They have different types of styles of beads that you don't see in everyday wear of people, what they wear and everything. See, there's a sunflower right there. I just saw that. So that one's a sunflower picture. So you have all sorts of different types of flowers that are carved into these 2 little guys. And they kind of feel like they might be maybe resin, but it feels almost like wood again. And look, there's even a flower down at the bottom. These are really nifty. I really like these. I'm going to have to use these guys in a project. Probably earrings more than likely. Then you get 2 of these guys. These are pretty large diamonds, and you have the hole going down the center right there. But they're very detailed on both sides. It's got the dark brown, and it's got like a gold or almost a yellow wash to it. So those are very pretty. Love those as well. You get some bead caps. These are rather large bead caps, but very, very good to have in your stash. And then there's the inside of it, and then there's the outer side. And then you end up with a couple more wood beads. These are just almost like a grayish color, just a nice rondelle again, and just a larger size. Good bead strand to use for those that like chunky type jewelry. And then here is the next rondelle. So it's another wood shape, but it's a lot thinner. And it's the same on both sides. And then the last bead on here is a ceramic bead. You can tell it's ceramic because you can see the inside right there. But your hole goes down the center right here. And so it's it's circular, but it's almost kind of like a flattened circle. But it's got the green color, and then it's got the brown spots in it and everything. And then the back side is the same. So this one's very, very pretty. I like this one. So that is bead strand number 1. So meet me back and we'll go through the Terracotta Dreams bead strand. And here is the Terracotta Dreams bead strand. So we'll go through each one of these. So all of this came on one bead strand. It's kind of crazy. Oh, I have a squirrel watching me outside my window. That's interesting. Alrighty, so you start off with getting 2 of these nice little, very light colored champagne type rondelles. So just your little rondelle color right there. You get, I think it's maybe 4 of these. Yeah, these are little silver spacers. That squirrel is really just sitting there staring at me, watching me through my window. That's kind of weird. I've never had that happen before. He's eating something and staring at me. Okay, squirreling, sorry. I didn't mean that pun. Anyways, here are the washers that you get. They're kind of, almost kind of bent in a way, is the best way of putting it. I don't know if you can really see it. Now you can kind of see it that way a little bit better. Where it's kind of almost like a teepee shape in a way. But you get 4 of those little spacers. And then you get these nice large crystals, and they are just an opaque white. And it kind of looks almost opaly in a way. Some of it's not completely opaque. You can kind of see a little bit through just a little small part. It makes it look like it's an opal crystal. So you get 2 of those. I'm going to move that out of the way. Then you get quite a bit of these larger spacers. And these are kind of the daisy spacer look again. But you end up getting 2, 4, 6, 8 of those. So you get the larger daisy spacer look. These almost kind of remind me of an atomic symbol. So I'm like a chemistry nerd, so sorry. I think about chemistry sometimes. But that's what it kind of reminds me of, is like an atomic symbol. Anyways, moving on. And then we get some more. These feel like they are a maybe crystal. I mean, they're or glassamine of some sort, because they're not that heavy, but they kind of look like the color of walnuts. And then they're just nice and bumpy. I like those. Those are different shapes. They're neat. So you get 2 of those. You get 2 of these matte silver colors that have a very large hole in the center of them. So these can be used for different projects that you like to have that have very large leathers or things like that. So you get 2 of those. You get 4 of some bead caps. My squirrel is gone outside now. So you get 4 different bead caps, or the same, and they're just kind of like a little 4-petal look to them. So you get 4 of those guys. These are pretty cool. These feel like little wood rondelles that have been strung together to make a little beaded bead. So you can kind of go through it in several different places if you wanted to make, to string through it and everything. But these are very, very extremely lightweight. These would be amazing in earrings because people would think that these are going to be really heavy, and then they pick them up and they're like, oh, wow, that's not quite as heavy as I thought it was going to be. So you get 2 of those. You get 2 little small white rondelles. So you get 2 little tiny ones. And then 2 more of our little daisy type spacers, similar to the ones that we got in the first bead strand. Look more like these, but just smaller. And then this was the center bead that was on this strand. And then your hole goes through the center right there. And it looks the same on both sides. So that is that bead strand. So I will go through the Pothos vine bead strand next. And here is the Pothos vine bead strand. So you get 3 different types of leaves on this one. This is the first type, and you can see how many come on this bead strand. There's a lot on this bead strand. So here's your first type of bead of leaf. Let me get that out of the way so it's not trying to, the camera's not trying to focus on that. And then each one of these leaves are, half the side is a little bit darker green, and then the other half is a lighter green. So that's the front side of the bead, and then that's the back side. So it's very similar to some other beads that we saw earlier. I forgot which ones they were. But anyways, these are, oh, that was from another bead box. Scratch that idea. These are very nice to where they're more of an opaque on this side, and then you've got more of a transparent so you can see the lines of the leaf and everything on this side. So those are pretty neat, larger size. And then these are more of kind of like a heart-shaped leaf. And I'm sure there's all the different flowers and everything that I'm supposed to know, but I am so much of a black thumb. I do not have a green thumb whatsoever. My mother and my grandmother did, but they did not pass that gene on to me. So this is about as green as I'm going to get with my flowers. So don't know what the names of these leaves are, but these are the second type. So they're more of a transparent green, and they're kind of, like I said earlier, they're almost in a heart shape type of a leaf. And then the last set is quite a bit of these little flowers. So you've got a kind of like a very, very light green color, and then it's got like an AB wash. There's a bunch of pinks and blues and greens, purples that shine through on those. So I'm not sure if you can see the details of this. And I can kind of get it in there. I'm afraid I'm too close to the camera. The camera's probably going, you can't get that close to me. So you can kind of see the leaf patterns on this guy. But your hole goes straight up and down. So your hole is... no, it's not. Oh, your hole goes through the top of the bead. I did not realize that. So these are kind of like charms. I didn't realize that. So that's where your hole is. Your hole goes right here. So those are pretty nifty. So you can use those as little charms if you wanted to. So that is that bead strand. And the next one would be the Begonia Garden Bead Mix. So I'll be right back. So one thing I'd like to point out before we go through the contents of this particular part of the box is that I love how they give you different colored findings. This one has more gold. We have another one that's coming up that has the silver. We saw the silver a little bit in one of the other strands, and then we've got the antique brass in the other strand. I love how they mix those up. So that way, if you're making jewelry, especially those of us that make jewelry to sell as your business, or in my case, a business that I use for just fun, basically, just because I have too many beads and I got to get rid of them, and my husband told me I had to do something with them or quit buying beads. So I decided to make a business. So anyways, those of us that do that, then that allows us to be able to make some items with gold, some items with silver, some items with that antique brass, so on and so forth. So I do love how they have different colors like that. So that is a great plus for this type of a bead box. So this one, all of these beads and findings came in this little container right here. Just this container. So that is, there again, yet a ton of beads. So we'll go through this as quick as I can. So you get a bunch of spacers. These are similar to the silver spacers that we saw earlier. They're the larger, kind of look like the atomic symbol to me, type spacers. You get some gold daisy type spacers. So those are your daisy ones. You get some bead cages. If you're not familiar with what a bead cage is, it is usually either a round or some other shape of a form, and then you have a hole going down the center, which of course you can't see it right now. It's not coming up on the camera very well. But anyways, there's a hole that goes down the center right here. So you can string on a bead, put the bead in the center here, and then when you're stringing on, whether with thread or with wire or something like that, you can go through the bead frame, go through the bead, and come out the other bead frame on the other side. And so then you just have this nice little decoration around your bead. Just in case you're not familiar with what a bead cage is. Then you have several different types of bead caps. So here's the first one. So it looks like that. It's kind of a lighter color gold in that one. Your second type looks in that fashion. So it looks a little bit more of a darker gold. It's got a little bit of a antiquing type to it, but it's just a smaller little bead cap. And then the third one is more of your light gold again. Has almost a red gold or rose gold look to it, but that's your just typical almost round looking bead cap. Then to get into the beads, these are pretty cool. These feel like they're like the other strand that was the teardrop that was carved. These look like these are the same type of thing, but they're just cylinders. So your hole goes down like that. And they're see-through, so you can see through the bead itself. So that's pretty neat. I like these guys. These would be very interesting in a project of some sort. You've got some more wood beads with a little flower detail on it, and they're the same on both sides. And then your hole goes through one of the points of the flower, like that. You have some teardrops that are in this beautiful amber colored glass, and then it's outlined with a gold finish around the edge. And then your hole goes down the top like that. But these are very, very pretty. You get 4 of these in that little container. Then these guys are very sparkly, little round guys, and they feel like they might be resin, but they're little rounds. They're almost rondelle-ish shaped because the top of it's kind of cut off, but it's probably just because of the decoration that's around the side of it. So those are very, very sparkly. Nice little amber color again. Then you get some more of these little small ingots or ignots, whatever they're called, rectangular shaped crystals. So, and they're just smaller than the other green ones that we were looking at earlier. So you get several of those. You get 4 of these oval beads, and these are pretty neat because some of them have a little bit of yellow in them, like that, and then others have a little bit less of yellow. So you can still kind of see some, but there's a little bit less, and then the other side has a bigger dot. But it's more of an opal color to it again, and then your hole goes long ways through the bead that way. We have some more rounds similar to the dark brown ones, but these feel like they're more of a glass. And then it's got like a light beigeish color on one side, and then the other side is white. And then it goes down the center. And these are about an 8mm. Then you get some melon beads. These are always neat because it's your typical brown bead, but it's slightly different because they look like a melon. So those are pretty neat. You get 6 of those. You get 4 ceramic cubes. So here's your cube beads in kind of a caramel color, and then your hole goes down the center of one of the sides. You get 4 nice large rondelles, and these are an opal color, but they have like a yellow tint to them. So you can see a little bit of yellow on one side, and then the other side is kind of white. So it's very similar to what was this type of bead here, but it's more of a yellow color on it. So those are pretty nice. Nice large rondelles to have. These beads are neat. I haven't seen this shape in pretty much at all. It looks like it's like a tri-shape. It's rounded, but it's like a tri-shape. But then even on the side, you can see that the sides are twisted a little bit. If you see them firsthand, because of course they're weight beads, it's kind of hard to show actually what they are, but it's the twist starts up here and then it goes down here in the angle. So there's like a little twist to them. So those are pretty neat. Those are different. These two I love. I'm going to be using these in something. So these are metal beads, and they are the white flowers, and then they have the same design on both the front and the back. And then the hole on this one goes down the center there. So you can see, whoops, nope, it wasn't focused. Now it's not. There we go. Focus again. You can do it. There you go. There's your hole. So these are neat. I'm definitely going to be using these in something. Let's see, where am I at? And then you get 6 of these little clover type beads, and this is like a transparent champagne color again, so it's a very, very light brown color. Very hard to see up against my skin. And then you have several of these, and these are like a matte rondelle. And they're somewhere around a maybe, I think they look more than a 4x6 or 6x4. Looks more like a 5x7 shape and size, somewhere around in there. So that is the ton of beads that you get in that one kit. So the next one I will be going through is the Fiddle Leaf Fig bead mix. So we'll meet you back and see that one. So this is the Fiddle Leaf Fig bead mix that came in the kit. All of these beads came in this little itty bitty small jar. So there again, like I said in the last couple of clips, a ton of beads. So you get 4 of these. These are almost like it's got like a dark grayish green background to it, and then it's got, I want to call it like the army colored brown, like a coating on the top of it. So it looks very, very neat. It's a neat color. I like that you get the different types of colors and stuff like that in these boxes. So you get 4 of those, and they're a rondelle shape. You get 4 of these that end up being more of a hunter green color. You've got the lighter colored green, and then it's been overlaid with a hunter green, a darker color on top of it. So another good rondelle shape. You get several of these guys, and they're more of an opaque, almost like a candy apple green, or not quite a Granny Smith color green. It's a little bit more greener, almost like a Kelly green. That's probably a better option of that as a Kelly green. And then you have the hole going up and down like that. So you get several of those, and they're like a cylinder shape. Then you get some round beads. These look like they're, I think maybe 8mm, somewhere around in there. Yeah, it's probably an 8mm bead. But you get several of these, and they're like an opaque, almost an opaly green color. So those are very, very pretty. Then you get 2 different sizes and colors of little disc beads. These are the tiniest one of the 2. These are close to about 3mm in size. And on the side of them are facets. I don't know if I can pick one up enough to where you can see the facets on it. But the side does have facets on it. Oh, you can see it there. It just flashed. There we go. So you can see that it flashes, it catches the light really nicely on those. So just a nice little pop of color for anything that you're working with. Then your other color of your disc beads, your flattened discs that have the facets on the side, is this matte crystal color. And there you can see the facets much better on this one, on the bigger one. But the little green ones are the same. Then this one are some opal colored, just round discs. So you get that nice little opal color there. Just another texture to add to your project. You get 4 of these, and your hole goes up and down through the center, and they're the same on both sides. You got like a little leaf pattern on both sides. You've got these that, not quite even sure what to call them, but they almost look like a twisted bicone in a way. So they're kind of a bicone shape, but they're like flattened or squished, something like that. I don't know, they're just a neat shape, just something different, and it's silver in color. Nothing, no other type of coating or anything on top of that one. These guys are neat. I didn't realize what they were until I looked at them a little bit more closely. So they look like little flowers. So they look like this, but when you pull it on the side, you can see that there is some depth to it. And then that's the underside of it. So it's just a plain on the underside, and then you can see that there's detail. Of course, it's really hard to pick up because it's silver and my lights are kind of washing it out some. But it does have like a floral detail. It makes it look like it's a flower of some sort. So that's pretty neat. You get 6 of those. Then you get yourself some bead caps. And these are a little bit larger in size. And some of them are stuck together right now. But there's your bead cap. That's the one side of it, and then that's the underside of it. So you get several of those. And then you get some bead cages. So these are pretty neat, where you have a form that has a crystal on the inside that just is loosely flowing around in there. So it gives a nice little ting-ting whenever you're wearing something, like if you're wearing earrings or something like that, you hear some stuff tingling next to you, next to your ear. So also something pretty neat. So the next one to open is going to be the aloe vera charm pair. So I'll be right back. So I went ahead and got out the aloe vera charm pair, and then also, hello, my name is Fern charm pair. So we'll look at both of those. Go ahead and take this off because they're kind of sparkling in the lights. So here's your aloe vera charms. So very cute. Something I've never seen before. And honestly, this is probably the only thing I can actually keep alive. Is some aloe vera plants and some succulents and things like that. And sometimes even the succulents die on me. I've kind of given up these days on trying to grow plants. So instead I'm making jewelry. So here's your little charms. So you've got your little jump rings that are attached to it. So pretty cute. They're very, very lightweight. So those would work for earrings if you wanted to make a pair of earrings. And then here's the fern earrings. And these are just a little leaf of some sort that has been resined inside a form. So this is more of a flat side on the back side. And you can tell that's the underside of the leaf. And then that's more of the greener, brighter side on the other side. And then you got the holes there at the top. So those are your 2 sets of charms that came in the kit. So then the next part is the Conservatory metal set. Then we have a Weeping Fig metal chain, and then the Oasis stone chain. So we'll put all of those out here in just a second. Meet you back. Alright, so in the Conservatory metal set are these right here that came in one bag. So you get 4 little bead cages. So it's a rectangular shape, and it's pretty thick on one side, or on all sides like that. And you've got your hole that goes down the center right there. So you can add your beads here in the center and just make a really, really simple little earring if you wanted to. Something like that, which may actually be what I use. I don't know yet. We'll find out. Then you get a couple of forms that you can use. This looks like something pretty nifty to use. You can actually use a couple of these holes down here and add either jump rings or wire or something like that. Or you can just use it like this and just have a jump ring up here at the top, and then you can put some beads maybe down in the center. Like have a jump ring go up to the top plus one down here. Some thin jump rings, and then just have a bead hanging out down there in the center. That would be pretty neat for a nice little pair of earrings. All of these are extremely light too, so you can definitely use these in earrings if you wanted to. And then you get some links like this. So you've got, it's the same thing on either side. So you've got the 3 holes at the top, you've got 2 holes on the bottom. So there again, another little good option to use if you want to use those for earrings. So that is that. The Weeping Fig metal chain. I went ahead and just kept all the chain on the paperback right away this time. But this is your metal chain for this one. And this is a nice gold color. And it's almost like a matte. It's got like a almost a matte finish to it. But it's very nice. It's very different. And you've got, there's not really a jump ring to it, but there is a circle or a link that you would cut right there where my right thumb is at. And you would cut that link and then that would open it up to where you can add on beads if you wanted to or something like that. Or you can use it just as is, like this. You use jump ring or wire and hang things down from the edge. So that would be another option too to use for this. And then does it say how much is on here? No, it doesn't say how long the strand is, but it's quite a bit a strand because that's 1 loop right there and then you've got 2 more links that are hanging down on the bottom. So you get quite a bit of it. This is the Oasis Stone strand. So this one's pretty neat. It's like a silver strand and then it's got some, almost feels like resin cubes that are attached in there. And then in between the cubes you have just a crystal seed bead that's attached right there also. So you can open this up in any different places, many different places, and add your own little beads to it if you wanted to. Or there again, you can use this as just, you know, a necklace itself. Be a nice interesting necklace. And this one does not have the length on that one also, but it's probably, it's shorter than the gold one, but you can probably get a necklace out of that without any problem. So that is the kit. Now this little strand over here off to the side, I don't know if this was just an extra that came in the box or if they just didn't write it down on the box. I'm not sure. Like I said, this is the first time I'm getting it. So I ended up getting this chain reaction chain, and it says that it's chain for beading, and then down here at the bottom it says open chain links to add more beads. So you can open up these links that are attached, at least that's my guess, where my finger's at right here. You can open up those links, and then you can attach more beads if you wanted to, or you can take off these rondelles and use those in different projects if you wanted to. So that's pretty neat. And on the back of this one, it does say that it's an 18-inch. It's got an 18-inch length to it. So those are pretty neat. So I ended up getting that too. So that is the box that I received for March 2025 in Jesse James's magical, what do we call it? Magical Mystery Bead Box. So I will try to figure out what I'm going to do for an earring, and then I will meet you back and show you the supplies that you need to get out of your rocks if you would like to follow along and make the earring with me. Meet you back in a second. Alright, so let's do that earring. So we're going to make the companion to this one. I just finished this one and I like how it looks. We're going to go ahead and do that. So you'll need to get some of the items from this kit and then from this box, from these 2 little containers. So from the fiddle leaf fig container, you'll just need to get out 2 of the little small opal round discs out of that. And then out of the begonia garden container, you'll need to get out 2 of the bead cages and then 2 of the teardrops to make the earrings. The extra things that you'll need for the box is obviously going to be a pair of ear wires. We'll need a small little jump ring. I'm just using a 4mm jump ring out of my stash. We'll need some seed beads. I'm using Miyuki 80 seed beads today. This one is the transparent dark topaz. It's Miyuki's number if you're interested in that, is 134. So this topaz color is almost the exact color of the bead, or the topaz and everything in the bead, so that's why I chose that one. Extra little things you're going to need, or we're going to use thread and needle today. So I have a Pony brand size 11 needle, just my needle of choice. You can use whatever size you want to. I have dragon thread size 8 beading thread today, and it's in the white color. You can, there again, use whatever color you want to. I went ahead and just used the white because we're going through that opal bead, so I didn't want to have a bunch of colored thread going through that bead, if possible. You're also going to need a couple of pairs of pliers. One of them's holding up one of my tins right now to keep the glare down, and then I have a second pair off to the side. That's to open and close your jump rings and or your ear wire if you need to. You'll need a thread burner of some sort, so that way you can get your thread off the spool, and of course your bead on it board like we always need. So go ahead and gather up those supplies and then meet me back and I'll show you how to make the earring. Alright, so now that you have everything out and ready to go, let's start making the earring. It's a pretty simple process. We're going to start at the top of the earring up here, and then we're going to work our way down here, and then go back through the beads a couple of times and then tie off. That's all we do. So start off with one of your 8/0s, string that on. We're going to go through our bead cage next. So what you want to do is line up your holes of your bead cage. I have my 2 holes going up and down like this. And then line up your holes on your little disc bead that's going to go down in there. I try to get it down in the bead cage first. Usually it makes it a little bit easier to thread it on. And then I just start on one side, go through the bead cage, go through the bead, and then come out the other side of the bead cage. So just like this. There you go. Now you can see it a little bit better. So that's what your bead cage is supposed to look like. And then thread that on. Go through another seed bead. We're now going to put on our teardrop, go from the top of the teardrop down to the bottom, and then add your last seed bead. So you'll just need 3 seed beads per earring. I don't know if I told you the quantity or not, but it's just 3 per earring, so 6 total. And then just pull all these down to the end of the thread, leave enough thread there so it's easier for you to hold on to it. And then all we're going to do is we're going to go back through these beads one more time. So we're going to skip over that last 8/0, go through the teardrop, the next 8/0, the bead cage, the bead inside the cage, the other side of the bead cage, and come out. And then what you want to do, I'm just moving these out of the way, so hopefully my camera doesn't focus on those. What you want to do is you want to go back through that bead up here at the top, but I'm going to go in this fashion. I'm coming out of the bead cage right now, so I'm going to round out and go through the top of that 8/0, and then go back through all the beads one more time. The bead cage, bead inside the cage, the other side of the cage, the 8/0, the teardrop, and then come out. If you go through that 8/0, that's fine. We're going to go through it here in a second anyway. I missed it. I'm just coming out of the teardrop right now. So now I'm going to go back through up to the top, so that way I can get to where I can tie off the thread and be almost done with the earring already. So before you tie off, you want to make sure that your 8/0s at the top of your earring and at the bottom of your earring are sitting in the fashion that you like. See how this 8/0 is kind of sitting on its side right now and you can see a bunch of thread? I want to turn it to where that one's sitting more like it's supposed to, like a peak like that. That's how I want those to look. You can have it look the other way. It's not going to be that big of a deal because a lot of times, especially if you depending on how you store your earrings or your jewelry and everything, sometimes that bead's going to flop down anyway. So eventually one of these days it's going to do that. It's just one of those things. But that's just what I prefer for it to look like when I'm making them, and so I try to get the top one to do the same. So my thread, I'm coming out of the bead cage again. I'm not going back through that 8/0 because I'm going to go ahead and tie it off. So my original thread, or the starter thread, is down here, or is coming out of the 8/0, is up here at the top. Down here at the bottom is my working thread, and that is coming out of the bead cage. So we're going to tie ourselves a knot. I have the shorter thread in my right hand, the longer thread in my left. I'm going to make a loop. Put that shorter thread through the loop towards me once. Pull down. Make another loop to where the shorter thread goes through the loop away from me once. And then once you have that done, which my fingers don't want to do a knot today. Come on. There we go. So once you have that done, then you can tie off. Now notice how my beads are now facing. I have my 8/0 facing in this direction and not in this direction again. So I just want to twist it a little bit and just get it to back to the spot that I want it to sit at. And see how this one kind of flipped over again? You can just play with it. It's tied off. It's not going to go anywhere. You can just play with it and get it to the spot that you want again. Now this up here, it will probably happen to where your 8/0 at the top is not going to be sitting exactly perfectly. That is one reason why I use the jump rings. The jump rings will help hide the fact that, I'm going to make this tighter, make sure I got it in there, but the jump rings will help hide the fact that the 8/0s sometimes don't sit in the correct fashion. And your earring may be facing the side, to the side sometimes, things like that. That's just one reason why I like to use jump rings through 8/0s. It helps keep that from being an issue. So I'm burning down the tips and just making sure there's a nice little ball of thread sitting there, so that way I know it is secure. And yes, you are going to see some thread sitting there, but really when it's on your ears, nobody's going to see that. Nobody's going to notice that. So now we want to get our jump ring out. Move all my extra thread out of the way. Get our jump ring out. Go ahead and open up this guy. We're going to thread it through onto our earring. So I'm going to go through the 8/0 first, and then I'm going to put the earring on just because it's easier that way. I already have the jump ring open, might as well just go ahead and thread it on. And then when you close off your jump ring, and you drop it all, hopefully you don't do that. Apparently today I'm having a shaky day. So sometimes on my shaky days it makes it a little bit harder for me to do jewelry. But it's okay. It is what it is. Grab a hold of that jump ring, try not to drop it again, and then close it up. And then now I have a pair of earrings made with the Jessie James Magical Mystery Bead Box from March 2025, Conservatory. Alright, so I am extremely pleased with this bead box. I am very glad I made this purchase. So hopefully the next couple of bead boxes will be the same. Of course it's going to be a different theme each month. So next month we'll have something different for me to unbox. So I'm very, very glad with the amount of beads that come in here, the different varieties, the different colors, the different types of finding colors, the silver, the gold, all those different things. I'm very excited about this box. So thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. Don't forget to hit that like button and the subscribe button, and you'll get notified whenever I come out with another new video. So thanks again, everyone. I appreciate your watch, and I will see y'all in the next video. Y'all have a great day. Bye.